Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is Silver here, and this is the second part to my series Restoration, where I'm going to be designing characters who are the reincarnations of the Greek gods. So in the last part, I designed the reincarnations of Zeus, Poseidon, and Hades, and in this part, I am going to be designing the reincarnations of Athena, Aphrodite, and Hera. So without further ado, let's hop right into this. I am so sorry if I sounded extremely unenthusiastic in that last recording. That was like my millionth time trying to record that part, so I just wanted to move on to the next stuff. So I'm showing you the redesign for Athena first, because she is the design that stayed the most consistent. The other two went through some pretty big changes, so the reference for the reincarnation of Aphrodite that I used to sketch out the base for Athena is old. So yeah, so their name is Minerva, and which is the Roman name for Athena, and she goes by she/they pronouns. She is one of the youngest members of the group. I think the actual youngest is going to be the reincarnation of Dionysus. So yeah, so for her full body, I wanted them to have armor on and all of that, because they're a goddess of war, battle strategy and all of that. So of course they gotta be prepared for battle. And they're also wielding a spear, but her main weapon would be the shield, more of a defensive weapon instead of an offensive weapon like Ares. And while they have the spear, it would be the kind of thing where they would only use it if it was absolutely necessary, like there was no other option, she had to do this, Anyways, let's talk more about the shield, her main weapon of choice. So their shield, I know for actual canon Athena, her shield has the head of Medusa on it, but I can't draw snakes, honestly, cannot draw snakes. So what I decided to do instead, just to kind of save myself the brain cells and save your eyes from something terrible, I decided instead to kind of just draw a few patterns on it, and then draw a little cute little fuzzy owl on it. So yeah, the shield is also in shades of gold, because yes, and Athena's full body outfit also has shades of blues, browns, and golds. I think I chose brown because for color theory, brown, if I remember correctly, is also a color for wisdom, and then blue is the color for loyalty and serenity and all of that. I decided later, after the first video I posted for restoration, that I wanted the full bodies to have their eyes glowing to show that that their godly sides are taking over and all of that. And yeah, so for Aster, his eyes glow yellow. For Dylan, his eyes glow like a greenish bluish color. And then for Cypress, his eyes kind of glow more like a dull blue. So for Athena, I kind of wanted it to be more of a clear blue, because a lot of the times for when Athena is described in the Odyssey, for example, it always mentions how she has clear sparkling eyes and all of that. So yeah, but that's pretty much it, I think. Minerva is also the half-sister to the reincarnation of Ares, aka Gunnar. So yeah, for the half body, I just did a simple jacket, and then I did kind of a graphic design for a TV show of a thing that definitely does not exist in real life. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm just gonna let the rest of this go through. Next up is the reincarnation of Aphrodite. So, her name is Rosalie, which means beautiful rose in French. You can see here I'm using the reincarnation of Hera as a base to draw the poses for Aphrodite, but that is an old drawing, so that's not the actual finished product for her, so pay no mind to that. So I made Rosalie pretty tall. I think she's one of the tallest in the group, actually. And I didn't want, because a lot of pictures of Aphrodite, you know, she's either wearing like beautiful, like long dresses and all of that, or there are some stuff exposed. So, and I did not want to do either, but what I did instead is I have little like seashells, kind of like Ariel from The Little Mermaid, covering her chest to kind of show like how in the painting of her birth she is standing in like a seashell, kind of like that. So yeah, and then some of her stomach is abdomen and stomach is exposed, and then kind of goes into her girdle, which she wears, and it enhances her beauty, and it goes into just like a short skirt. She also has some jewelry on her arms and legs, and I also had a little flower in her hair because I thought that would make her look and give her a little bit more detail and all that. It was also a little bit inspired by some of the accessories I've seen in Aphrodite's hair in the game Hades. So yeah. I also gave her a sword. Okay, honestly, in retrospect, it kind of looks more like a big machete. But yeah, it's like a sword / machete because you know, she may be just like a goddess of love and all of that, but she also has a war side, you know? That's why I gave her that weapon, to kind of show that she can defend herself, you know? She doesn't need, yes, she is dating Ares, but she doesn't need him necessarily to fight her battles. She can fight them herself if she has to, if she really has to, you know? But yeah, so when she's not using violence, she usually uses her beauty to get out of things, because she knows that most people cannot say no to her. So yeah, I made her an only child, and I also made it so that she doesn't know who her birth parents are. So she's kind of been jumping from like foster family to foster family and all that jazz. But she feels like she really does belong with our little gang of reincarnated gods, which is a good thing, you know? So yeah, but I think that is pretty much all I have to say about Rosalie. I tried to give her braids for her full body, as you could tell from earlier in the speed paint, but I can't draw braids. I'm sorry. Maybe one day, when I get better at that, I should say, I'll draw her with braids. So yeah. Another thing I forgot to mention, my apologies, is that for her full body I made her eyes glow pink. So yeah, other than that, I am pretty sure for real this time that is it. I'll let the rest of this go through. last but certainly not least is the queen of the heavens herself, Hera. So as you can tell, I'm using an old version of her design to kind of like draw a basis for how I wanted her to be posed, because I had her in pretty much the same pose that I originally had her in. I think I just made her a little bit taller. Her original name was Regina, which basically means queen in Latin. However, after a little bit of me like thinking about her and how I wanted her to be and all of that, I decided literally like a week ago to rename her to Juno, which is the Roman name for Hera. She is one of the only characters who has the Roman name of their original godly form, the other two being Minerva, aka Athena, and Diana, aka Artemis. I made her weapon of choice her scepter. I guess not really a weapon, so to speak, but she is often depicted with a scepter of some kind. I made her dress a little bit wavy at the bottom, and I also made her hair a little wavy at the bottom, and later in the speed paint I'm gonna give her a cape. The way they're designed, it's inspired by this YouTuber who designed the Greek gods for their like version of Epic the Musical and all that. Her name is Irunaki. I'll put a link to her YouTube channel in the description. I love her art, she's really good. I originally made her hair long for her half body. However, after a little bit of reconsideration, I decided to make her hair short, and I made her wear a headband, because it's kind of like what I did with Rosalie, where her hair is short in her half body and long in her full body. Sometimes when you're a goddess, you just decide, hey, I'm gonna grow my hair. For her cape, I made it so that it kind of had like that eye pattern on it. I color picked the colors of that pattern from a peacock feather, and then I kind of used effects to blur it a little and pixelize it a little, and then I added it to the cape. And then I made the top of her scepter. It's kind of like a flower of some kind. I think it's a water lily. Don't take my word for it. So I made her colors like purples and blues and greens, and a little bit of gold. It's kind of like the blues and the purples are tying her back to Zeus, because she is dating the reincarnation of Zeus, aka Aster. Their relationship is a little rocky, especially during the whole them having to go on this crazy journey to take back the throne and all of that. That really puts a dent in their relationship. So yeah, they're both seniors, so she's only about like maybe a few months younger than him. So she is the youngest in her family, and her sisters are meant to, I had this idea where her sisters are kind of meant to reflect that of Demeter and Hestia, but I don't know if they'd necessarily be the reincarnations of Demeter and Hestia. So yeah, because even though the main 11, they are for sure reincarnations of the gods, you know, they're not 100% sure that all of them are still dead. There could be reincarnations of the gods in other places. So this is the end of the video. In the next part, I'm going to design the reincarnations of Artemis and Apollo. So yeah, stay tuned for that part. Bye!